This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. It's your Weekly Blitz with Chris, keeping you in the game.
Coming to you from the crossroads of industry knowledge and business innovation, this is the Weekly Blitz hosted by me, Coach Chris Cotton from AutoFix-Auto Shop Coaching. The Weekly Blitz is the show that supercharges your auto repair business knowledge, helping you navigate the labyrinth of the automotive world and giving you the tools and the tips you need to steer your business to success. Each week, we're going to deliver an episode jam-packed with insider know-how, industry developments, practical business strategies, and surprising facts you didn't know you didn't know. The Weekly Blitz is brought to you by Shop Marketing Pros. I've been personally recommending Shop Marketing Pros since way before they were a podcast sponsor and way before they started doing my marketing. They also do most, if not all of my clients' marketing, and they should be doing yours as well. Many of my coaching clients work with Shop Marketing Pros and see results like they've never seen before by using other marketers. To learn more about their top tier marketing for top tier shops, see their link in the show notes or go to shopmarketingpros.com. So it's time to roll up the garage door on the mysteries of auto repair entrepreneurship. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or a starter in the game, this podcast is your owner's manual to running a successful independent auto repair shop. Now strap yourselves in, turn the key, and let's hit the gas. The topic for the day comes from a recent phone interview or discovery interview, if you will, from a potential client that I had. Typically, we see a lot of shop owners. I'm in a unique situation. You've never seen this before. You can't possibly help me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And really what we're thinking about, what we're talking about when we get into those types of situations is the owners in their fishbowl. And because they've never experienced it anywhere else, then they think, pardon the word, pardon the pun, they think they're special and that nobody could possibly help them. As I was trying to get him to see, he was in a fishbowl and there were things that could be done, things that could be helped. He kept back and he was like, well, give me some numbers from my area. And that's one of the things that I've never really personally done. Never really pushed. Obviously, it's metrics that we use or I use, but I don't really share them with the public. Looking back now, I feel like absolutely we probably should. And so that's what we're going to do here. We're also going to do some case studies in the next couple of weeks. Be sure and listen to next week's episode when I do a case study from a shop in California. A very, very interesting shop, very, very surprise ending. So again, the shop owner was quizzing me, questioning me on numbers, saying that you can't do this. And what I needed him to realize was I personally helped over 500 shops all across the country. There's rarely a situation that we get into that I haven't seen or coached around. I can only think one situation in the last 10 years that came out of the blue, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't see that one coming," and it actually had to deal with the NAACP in a shop in Ohio. So, very interesting case. Typically, 99.9999% of the time, I've seen your situation, our coaches have seen your situation. We've either corrected it and moved on in our own shop or we coached somebody else through it. So I want you to know that there is a path forward out there. You may not see it. And a lot of times the full picture won't come into effect until like step 62. But if I can't get you past steps 1 through 5, let alone 6 through 10, then for sure you're not going to get to 62. So had a long conversation. And after that conversation, I'm like, Chris, you need to have something readily available. If somebody says, hey, Chris, I need help. I'm in this certain area. What do you have going on in this area that you can share or talk to me about? So really what I did is I put up a sheet, put up a chart. The first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the national average or national averages. And then I'm going to go back and give you by region. So we're going to do national average and then West Coast, Southwest, Midwest, East Coast. Okay. Again, I pulled this data only from 4 shops across the country, and I'm going to run you through the numbers. So the numbers that we're going to be talking about are ROI or return on investment, gross profit, net profit, parts gross profit, labor gross profit, technician productivity, which was really the surprising thing in here. I know we work on it and we're able to help a lot of people with that, but I didn't realize we were having double digit increases in technician productivity across the country when when we take these 4 shops and squeeze them together. Car count, effective labor rate increase, net profit dollars per week, weekly revenue, and then average repair order increase. Really, when we're talking about the average, we're squeezing all these regions together. The average return on investment for all the shops together is 9.3 times ROI. So if if a coaching or excuse me, if a client comes to me, on average, I with faith and could honestly tell you that our return on investment is 9.3x on average. So that means for every dollar you give me or us as a coaching company, we're going to give you almost $9.50 back. One of the other things, and we know we have an effect on gross profit, but the countrywide average for these 4 shops was 11.8% gross profit. Net profit was almost 11%, 10.85%. Parts gross profit, 8.9%. Labor gross profit, 12.5%. Technician productivity, I talked about that just a second ago. As an average across the country, we've been able to raise that to 14.5%. The effective labor rate increase. Now, this doesn't include if we come into your shop and say, hey, you're not charging correctly and we need to change the labor rate. Takes into the effect that we've raised the labor rate. What is the effective labor rate increase now? And so if you're sitting there, Chris, I don't know what effective labor rate is, then maybe we need to have a follow-up phone call on that, maybe do another podcast. But effective labor rate with these 4 shops on average is 21.67 increase. So one of the most important things that I think is all of these things together has a net positive per week positive gain of almost $3,800. So, would you like to spend some money? Probably not. But if it could get you another almost $4,000 in net profit per week, so almost $12,000 in net per month. And again, all the numbers I'm talking about, this is per week. And then the other thing is once you take all these shops, squeeze them together, the weekly revenue increase is $16,000 per week. So 16,293 per week. And then we're talking about an average repair order increase of 143.75. So really going back to the whole fishbowl thing, it's a common problem, but how do we get that? How do we get you out of your fishbowl? First of all, we got to talk through what's going on, get you to see some of the other things that's going on around the country. But again, you are unique because you think you're unique, because you don't spend any time in anybody else's shops, whereas we spend time in 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 other shops at a time, depending on what's going on and what our processes are. So I told you about the countrywide average. So the next thing I want to walk you through from coast to coast and kind of give you like a regional average of what we were able to see with these 4 shops. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of insight maybe onto what we did with each of these shops to give you a better idea as well. So if we look at the West Coast, and West Coast, this shop's in Northern California, we were able to get them 6x return on investment. We were also able to impact their gross profit over 10%, a little bit over 10%, and their net profit over 6.3%. So really, we were able to help them with their productivity a little bit as well, almost 6% increase their productivity. And if you think 6% is not going to really change how you do things and your bottom line, it will. 6% will have a huge impact. I'm going to tell you here in just a minute about the net profit. So the car count is flat. We didn't try to drop the car count. We didn't try to raise the car count. We just wanted to hold it steady and make sure that we were doing better on some of these other margins. Effective labor rate was flat. They did a really good job typically of being able to hold the line on what they were supposed to be realizing from the effective labor rate. So if none of you have ever thought about your effective labor rate target or goal before, effective labor rate, I want it to be 90% or better of your quote unquote door rate. Okay. But here's the kicker for this shop. We made small changes. The other thing I'm going to tell you is some of these clients may have only been with me 4 months, and then there's one in here that's gonna stand out, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, that one's been with me over 2 years." So, to continue the one that I'm talking about on the West Coast, it was just a constant cycle, like, they were taking $100 bills basically and throwing them in the trash. With those small incremental changes that we were able to realize for them, we were able to move them from I think they were losing about $400 to $500 a week to a net profit of $2,583 per week. You can make small incremental changes and they'll have a huge impact on what you're doing. Again, if you're a shop out there, you're losing money, there is a way up and there is a way out. Like you can go from consistently losing 500 to $1,000 a week to consistently doing $3,000 a week. So again, if we look at that over a month time, they went from losing $2,000 a month to making almost $10,000 in profit a month, and this shop's doing really, really great. The weekly revenue, we kept flat. We have been able to increase their average repair order $51 a ticket. So again, small incremental changes have a huge impact on your business, okay? If you guys have a question or comment about any of the numbers that we're talking about, I wanna make sure that you feel free to reach out to me, so chris@autofixsos.com. The next one, we're gonna move from the West Coast, California to the desert Southwest. This shop is in Albuquerque. So this is one of the shops that's been with me longest. There's been a couple of things that tweaks that needed to be done, but some stuff we didn't need to touch. Okay. So one of the biggest things is the return on investment. This is one of the highest ROI shops that I've ever had. And their return on investment's been 20x. So for every dollar they give me, I've been able to return $20 back. Really, our gross profit has stayed steady. It was where we wanted it to be, and we were able to change the net profit by changing a couple of things. The parts margin was great. They were 50% or better. A labor gross profit we needed to increase, so we've been able to increase our labor gross profit by about 9%, hence the 9% drop into the bottom line. But how did we do that and what did we do? So the shop had good processes. They had technicians that could handle more. So we refined the processes. We were able to affect that. So our technician productivity, we were able to get that up 24%, but we also increased their car count 14 per week. So that's one of the things that we noticed coming in was their car count was a little low and they could really, really ramp that up and do more. So I'm going to step aside and talk about shop marketing pros for just a minute here. They're if you're listening to this, this is like 4th of July, Monday, July 3rd. Shop marketing pros does a great job of helping you relay your brand message. Do people know, like, and trust you? We throw things out as marketing or branding, but in my 30 years of experience, Shop Marketing Pros is the best that I've ever seen and the best that I've ever worked with. That's why I trust them with my marketing and all of my client shops marketing. I would put them out there above any other company right now doing anything in the marketing space for auto repair shops. They have a tagline, top tier marketing for top tier shops, and they can really push you to the next level. And so, one of the things I did when I realized that we needed more cars for this shop is I got the two of them together and said, "Hey, let's build a plan. Let's execute the plan and see what we can do." So, consistently, we're averaging 14 cars per week more in this shop. Again, if you're looking for somebody to help you out with that, Shop Marketing Pros, I highly recommend them. So, effective labor rate increase in the shop was 3107. That comes from the productivity. Everything else was good. We switched out some can jobs, but really the big thing was a productivity increase. our net profit dollars per week went up almost $7,000. So this shop is netting almost $28,000 more in net positive cash than it was when it first started with me. And so here's the two numbers that will probably shock you. I'm going to flip these in order. The average repair order increased $290 a ticket. And that's just coming from writing a better estimate, having a better closing ratio, doing a better job building a value and trust with customers. And so when you look at that, look at the week as a whole, that increased those steps in there increased our weekly revenue by $25,000. It's doing 25,521 more dollars per week than it was before when we first started. So I love this shop. It's a great shop. They're doing great things. Again, this is what can be done with some direction and help and point in the right direction. And if I'm talking about my fishbowl, if you're in the Southwest United States, West Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Southern California, Nevada, we're kind of reaching up a little bit. There's shops out there that are doing these types of things. And if you think it can't be done in your area, it's just because you don't know what you don't know, right? Like it can be done in any area, in any shop, anywhere in the United States, these types of things. Now we're going to move to the Midwest, and it's more, we could probably call this more Mid South. I haven't been with this shop a long time, but this shop is in South Texas. And so their return on investment is 3.6x. So almost $4 for every dollar that they've given us. Their gross profit has gone up 10%. Their net profit has gone up 9.10%. The parts gross profit has gone up 6.5%. Labor gross profit has gone up 18%. Technician productivity has gone up almost 20%, 19.22%. So this is another shop that most shops, when they come to me, they don't need more cars. They've got all the cars they need. And this is another one that we identified that didn't need any more cars. We just needed to do a better job of the cars that we had. All of those things that we just talked about. Also, effective labor rate increase of almost $19 per hour. When we look at everything, their net profit dollars per week is almost 3,500. It comes in at $3,459 a week. Again, they're almost making another $14,000 in net profit. Their weekly revenue has gone up $7,065, so 7,065, and their average repair order has increased $183. So again, we're working smarter, we're not working harder. How do we do the average repair order increases we're talking about? By doing a great DVI, digital vehicle inspection. We have completely thrown away paper copy inspections. If you're still doing a paper copy inspection out there, stop. You have to have a great shop management system that is cloud-based and does a DVI. On average, when people switch from paper to digital DVI, their average repair order increases like $228. So again, we're using what we have and we're making it better. No huge wholesale changes in any of these shops, just small tweaks here or there, and we just amplify those over time. Okay. So the last one I'm going to talk about, this is going to be on the East Coast. This is a rural town on the East Coast. Think Maine, Connecticut, in that area. So this shop's about 5 months into the program. They had a lot of upside that we needed to realize rather quickly. So their return on investment at this point is 7.5x or $7.50 for every dollar that they've, given us. Gross profits been up 15.2%, net profits up 19%, parts gross profit is 15.3%, labor gross profit is up 11%, technician productivity is up 9%. Again, whenever we're coaching or looking or trying to come up with a strategy for a shop, one of the first things we want to look at is, are we profitable in the right areas? Are we following a good process and procedure? So this is another one. The car count's flat, but it's flat because we've kept it there. When we're ready to ramp it up, we will get them with shop marketing pros, hit the switch, and then get ready to move. This shop's about ready. Their Effective labor rate has gone up $15. The net profit per week has gone up $2,200, like 2,196. And their average repair order increase is up $51 per ticket. So, on the low end, I've got 2 shops, weirdly enough, that are at $51 average repair order increase. Midwest, 183, and then Desert Southwest, almost $300 a ticket. But again, you take all that and squish it down, our average, the number that we're able to help an average shop is $143 in average repair order gain. Again, this is not rocket science. This is having focus. This is not being in your fishbowl. I wish I would have had a little bit better statement ready for talking about people in their fish bowls, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Don't think because you're not doing it, it can't be done. Okay. I always want to push you forward. I want you to push forward, but just know there are shops around the country that are doing it and getting it done. Doesn't mean you can't. You just have to ask for help, get a push, and head off in the right direction. Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for today, folks. And I hope you found this episode of the Weekly Blitz both informative and inspiring. I truly believe in the power of knowledge and collaboration to drive success. And I trust that the insights we've shared today can empower you to take your auto repair business to the next level. We're incredibly grateful for you, all of our listeners. Your commitment to learning, growth, and improvement is what keeps us doing what we do, and we never forget that. We also want to thank our incredible sponsor, Shop Marketing Pros, for making this show possible. Their dedication to the success of independent auto repair shops just like yours is truly unparalleled. Shop Marketing Pros provides top-tier marketing for top-tier shops just like yours. Remember, success doesn't come to you. You have to go out and get it. It's all about making strategic decisions, fostering effective management, and continuously seeking to educate yourself and your team. That's what the Weekly Blitz is all about, and we're committed to being a resource for you every step of the way. Join us next week as we continue to provide actionable insights, expert advice, and real-world stories from the trenches of the auto repair industry. Don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast with fellow shop owners, and leave us a review if you enjoyed today's episode. And as always, if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in an upcoming episode, please get in touch with Chris at AutoFix-Auto.com. Your input is what shapes this show. Until next time, everybody, I'm Chris Cotton signing off. Keep your gears running smoothly, keep learning, and keep growing. Remember, in this business, every day is a chance to get better. Here's to you continued success.
You've been listening to the Weekly Blitz with Coach Chris Cotton on the AftermarketRadioNetwork.com. Follow Chris on your favorite podcast listening app. Let him know what you'd like him to cover. His email is in the show notes. Chris is all for advancing the aftermarket.